Hi everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Stamping. My name is Lillian and I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada. And the heading for my Facebook group and page is Stampers Niche, where we all have a niche where we can come together as stampers and have some creative fun and share ideas. So welcome, and be sure to let me know where you're watching from and say hi, or just let us know you're there somehow or other, all right? And just as people are hopping on, it's a beautiful sunny day here. The snow is just about all melted, still some patches. Went to pick the grandkids up at school today, and I looked at the playground and huge puddles of mud underneath every swing, and kids were swinging. So you knew how muddy kids were going to be when they arrived home tonight. But that's just part of spring, and it just means that soon the trees will be budding out and it'll be nice and green. I don't know, in some parts of the world where some of you are watching from, it already is, but we have that to look forward to here. So thank you so much for joining me. I have a question for you just before we go down to my desktop. The retiring list was posted. So what is something that you were surprised to see on the retiring list? It doesn't just need to be a stamp. It could be a color, it could be a tool, it could be whatever. But what's one thing that, you can say more if you want, but at least one thing you were surprised to see on the retiring list, and maybe you're very thankful that you have it. So share one thing that you were surprised to see on the retiring list. For me, there were a few things. One thing was the Stamparatus, because it's one of my favorite tools, but that is being retired right now anyway. And the paper that surprised me was Bermuda Bay, because I just happen to like Bermuda Bay, but I really like Coastal Cabana too. So I can make do with whatever. I had better make sure the computer's working here, and I see that several of you are hopping on, so that is wonderful. And we'll also, while we're making sure that we're live here, and it's not, the computer's not sure if I'm live or not, but we will double check it. Just want to point out shimmery white. Yes, shimmery white paper was a big surprise. And I knew a few of you were going to be mourning Pacific Point and stocking up a little bit on that. Yes, those were some big surprises there. That's for sure. So I just have to share to my Facebook group, because some people like to watch there as well. And so we'll just finish doing that, and then we're going to be good to go. So why have I got this front and center? I've got it front and center because tomorrow, well, actually 1 minute after midnight tonight, the sale prices go into effect. We've had the list for about a week now, but the sale prices haven't been into effect. Now remember, it is while supplies last, and we've already seen some of the things sell out. So do make sure that if there's something on that list that you want, that you act quickly. And it's some of the things are up to 60% off. So some are regular price, some are 10, 20, 30, all the way up to 60% off. So some great bargains to be had there. So do take a look at that. Now, we knew that the 2021 to 2023 end colors were retiring, so these are them. And you're saying, hold it, there were 5. Well, Fresh Freesia, for the first time ever, one of the end colors is being carried directly over into the color families. So Fresh Freesia is going to stay around, yay, yay, yay. But these ones are going. We knew that they were going. But it's always sad to see them go. These were some really good ones. So other papers that are going are some of these, believe it or not. Now, it's different in every market, but in the North American market, this was the one that sold the least. And that was hard to believe. The one that sold the most was Real Red. So these colors are retiring, as well as these colors right here. So this, again, one of my favorites, but it's going. So if you have been on my Facebook group today, you see that I have a little contest going on. Not really a contest, an opportunity, I guess. So make a card that contains one or more of these colors. You can have other colors in there too, but one or more of these colors, and post it. Then on Friday, on Friday morning at 9 o'clock a.m. I know it's Good Friday, but we're going to church later. So at 9 o'clock a.m., I will draw a winner, just randomly draw a winner from all the people that post. So my group is here. Most of you, I think, belong to my group. But if you don't, take a screenshot, and just think of bit.ly/Lillian's group, and you'll find me. All right. So that is just a little opportunity to win something there. If you live outside of Canada, you can still enter. I would love to have you enter, but what I will do is send you a card because I can't send prizes outside of Canada. But I definitely, and if I draw a name from somebody outside of Canada, that means I'll draw another one for inside of Canada, and we'll all be good to go. So there you go. So tonight I am going to work with a bundle that is on the retiring list. It is one that was one of my favorites, and it's one I'll likely hang on to, actually. So it's called Conversation Bubbles. That's the stamp set. Let's see. Let me put something underneath it so it doesn't glare. It'll likely slide now. Oh, well. And so then we have the dies. And this is what I use all the time. You've seen me use these for all kinds of things. So my little cheat sheet again, my get acquainted sheet, as I often say, is this one here. So when you cut out, let me just pull this one out. When you cut this, it cuts two. It cuts this one here, and then it gives you this as well. So a lot of them cut two. This cuts two, and then some just cut individually. And just in case you weren't around the last time I talked about it, this die down here is a real sleeper and a keeper. So this one right here, you can put it along the bottom of any size paper and make a giant speech bubble or speech balloon. So there's one, there's another one. You could do it for a Slimline card like that, which I should have done tonight maybe, but anyway, so you can put that on any size and turn the whole card into a speech bubble. So this is what we're going to use tonight. I'm just going to put that to the side, give myself a bit of space. And we're going to use it a little differently. So what I did is I took a piece of vellum. Now I could have used masking paper, but we're making a Slimline card, so I wanted it to be bigger. And I cut out, I just went and I took all of these dies and I just kept putting them on there randomly and cut out that like that from vellum. So basically I made a stencil. And then I brought in a piece of basic white. Now I cut this bigger than what I need because sometimes when you're working with a stencil you get dark edges, and so I've got it a little bigger. So I'm just going to show you how I did this, and then I will show you the measurements for the card and all that stuff. So I'm going to put it on scrap paper, and I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive in the center to hold it steady, like that. And then I'm going to bring this, and remember I'm going to be cutting some off, but right now it's basically that size, just like that. Then I'm using some Post-it notes, and I'm going to just hold everything down by putting these Post-it notes around the edges. Oh, that one, no, I have to slide that over. Can I? No, that'll be good. I will use the Post-it note to cover that piece of paper. And right there, oops, don't want it where I want the ink. I want it where I don't want the ink. Be sort of finicky there. And we'll put some down here. So I'm holding everything securely, and I will double hold things with my hands, but just to get it all set up like that. Then I am going to use Coastal Cabana, one of my favorite colors. And I'm going to use Parakeet Party. And I'm going to use Fresh Freesia. It's carrying over. Hurrah, hurrah. You purple lovers there, I know that you're cheering about that. I'm just going to shift things a little bit. And Gorgeous Grape. Now, Highland Heather didn't give me quite enough contrast, so I went with Gorgeous Grape. It's a bit dark, so I'm going to use a little bit lighter hand with that. So now I'm going to bring in my blending brushes. So let me just share once again. If you are interested, there is the holder for blending brushes, and you can have it going either way. Because I have my markers this way, so I wanted to look at it from this way. I am really enjoying this. It's not for everybody. Some people like to put their blending brushes in a cup or whatever. I like how it keeps them apart from each other. I can see things readily and get them readily, and it fits both sizes, both the little ones and the big ones, because the handles are the same, right? It's just the brush end that is different. And I'm finding the more I use the little ones, the more in love with them I am. But here we go. We'll bring these in, and just wanted to show that handle again. That storage unit. If you've got the room, I think you would just love it. So we're going to try to sponge diagonally, and I'm going to start with Parakeet Party. I nearly started with the blue. Now, I use one blending brush for all my greens. I just make sure it's clean. It's not got dark ink on it, and I go and I mix it between the different greens and have no problem. The other thing, you really do want well-inked ink pads. It makes a huge difference. So I'm going to start swishing like this, and I start off the paper and then go on, going at a diagonal, holding the paper extra secure with my hand because I'm doing pretty big swooshes here. You can see that when I did my planning sample, I was doing much the same thing. Whoops, I got a good blob there, but that's okay. We won't worry about that. So there, we've got it. I'm going to catch just a little bit of this one too. This is where the little brushes come in handy. You can get into smaller spaces. There, I can always come back and do some more later if I want. Now I'm bringing in my blue brush for Coastal Cabana, and we're going to again swish across. Ooh, I nearly put it in the wrong ink pad. That wouldn't work very well. And when you're doing stencils, oftentimes it feels like nothing much is happening, but it is. You just have to trust that it is. And I'm overlapping some of the Parakeet Party. I want it to kind of all blend together. And I want a little bit here. Yeah, that'll be. Just, whoops, go right off camera with you. There. I'll catch a smidge of that one. And you see how when I'm coming back onto the paper, I'm getting a dark edge. That's why I cut the paper bigger, so that I had, if I did that, because I tend to do that, I forget that I should be just going that way. Now I can cut it down and nobody will ever know. And now I'm going to bring in, this has got pink on it, but I'm going to do fresh. No, I'm just going to leave it. I was using that for something else and it got put in here. I'm going to do Fresh Freesia. Just make sure I don't have Gorgeous Grape on there. Fresh Freesia again. And lightly first, always start lightly. You can always add more. You can't take it off, right? And we'll just blend that in. So this is another way of using your dies. Use them as a stencil. just like that. And now we're going to move over into the Gorgeous Grape, and this is pretty dark, so I'm going to use a light hand, just like this. How many of you have used stencils lately? What have you done with them? Or is it something you haven't tried? They actually are quite fun to do. You don't have to do as many shapes as I'm doing here. This was just, I got carried away and I just thought it was fun. So there we go. Let's see. Now what you can do is you can come back and blend some of those colors some more. And that likely is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peek. So I'm not going to remove all, oh, look at that. I think we're in business. So now what I'll do first off is close my ink pads. Nothing would be worse than dropping that in the ink pad. There we go. Take this off, and this is where the magic happens. This is my favorite part. When you remove it, you have that design all done for you, just like that. Oh, I love that look. There we go. I'm going to get these out of the way. Now let's talk about the card that we're making. The card that we're making is going to be a slimline card. It is going to be a black base. So it is 7 inches across the top and 8.5 this way. So with the 7-inch side, you can score it at 3.5. So score it at 3.5. So when you fold it, your card base is going to be 3.5 by 8.5. So let's use our bone folder and get that done. First off, looks like I didn't press quite hard enough. Don't know what I was doing. Well, isn't that a fine how do you do? There we go. I must have pressed in the wrong spot. We'll look at it from this side. Easy fix. All right, so then we are going to peel this off our scrap paper. And we're going to bring in some colors that we used. We used Coastal Cabana, Parakeet Party, Fresh Freesia, and Highland, or Gorgeous Grape, pardon me. So which should we do for our layer here? Should we do Coastal Cabana? So you can say blue if you want. Or should we do Parakeet Party? Or you can call that green. Fresh Freesia, light purple if you want. Or Gorgeous Grape. Which should we do as our layer in between? So I'm just going to bring them along here. Gorgeous Grape, Fresh Freesia. I think I see a Coastal Cabana, a Fresh Freesia. I'm seeing all different colors popping up. Blue. So, see how any of these colors would work, right? I'm going to show you what I used, and because I did use Coastal Cabana, maybe we'll use a different color. I think the next one I saw was Fresh Freesia, so maybe we'll try that. So this is what I did here, and I think this time I might cut this a smidge smaller so we have a little bit more border. That's just what I was thinking. So that being said, we will use this one here. And so the card base is 3.5 by 8.5. We're going to cut this 1/4 of an inch smaller. So we'll make this, instead of 3.5, 3.25 by 8.25. like that. And then, because I know that a lot of you really don't like those narrow borders, let's make this 8 by 3. So where's a funny edge that I need to cut off? I would like that to be on an edge too. So I'm going to cut some of this off here. So, because it looks funny right there. That's the joy of having it bigger. So I said I was cutting this 8 by 3, right? Here we go. And why did I want some of this cut off? Because I want some of this to be going off the edge to make it look like it's continuing on, just like that. And 8 by 3. So we've got lots of room. I'm going to cut a smidge off of here for the same reason. And then we'll make this one 3. So the white is going to be a little bit smaller than my first one. And hopefully I like it that way. We will try it. It's always good to experiment, right? So now we've got it like that. We just need to decide, do we want to do any stamping on the speech balloons? And I kind of think I do. And we're going to do love. Maybe we should do this first, and that will give us a little more direction. So let's bring in our black. And I was going to use the Stamparatus tonight, but because it's no longer available, I didn't want to do that to you. So I will just use the regular stamps. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my embossing buddy. It's part of the Embossing Additions Toolkit. I'm going to use that there so that when I emboss on here with the white embossing powder, it doesn't stick. Just it's going to stick where I stamp. So we're going to do the words first, and you'll see why in a minute. Love ya. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in the speech bubble. And the reason I'm bringing this in now is, look at, maybe you can't see. Let me just see here. You can see the words through that opening. So you have a pretty good idea of where you're stamping. So let's go like that. We'll get that out of the way. And we'll bring in our white embossing powder. And embossing powder tends to get everywhere, so it's always nice to have things that catch it. When you sprinkle it on, it's going to stick to where you stamped. And oh, we did a good job of the embossing buddy. We didn't end up with any excess, but that's what the brush is for, to brush off the excess. If you have it, always put the lid back on. I have, as you know, dumped that. Not a pretty sight. Now we're going to bring in the heat tool. Heat that up, and that powder is going to melt and turn shiny and be a bit raised. So it just pops on the black, and it just adds just a little bit more dimension to your card. This is the magic that everybody falls in love with. When I have done classes with kids, this is what they all want to do. It has to be close supervision, of course, because of the heat tool, but they absolutely love this. Then what we're going to do is bring in the die, and we're going to just fit it on like that, and it's going to cut it out perfectly. So I've got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Let's see if I can do it sideways. I see people doing it sideways, and it seems to work well. We'll see if we can do that. So I'm going to put my first plate number 1 down. The second one, I'm going to slide it back just a little bit. Then I'm going to put these down. Now I could use a Post-it note, or I could use washi tape to hold it in place. I'm going to live dangerously and hold my mouth just right and hope and pray that I do it. There we go. And we run it through. You like the card, Linda? I'm glad. It's fun. And it would work for teenagers or kids or for guys. It would work for anybody. It's one of those any person cards. So when you have cut it out, you have the words like that, but there's still this here. So, whoops, where did I put my take your pick tool? So for another, I'm not going to use it right now, but I also have this. So it does both. It's multi-purpose, works well, just like that. So there we go. So if I am going to put that about here, I can bring in some other words and just stamp tone on tone, right? And remember, you could get words from other stamp sets, whatever. I'm going to use predominantly from this set. The smile is from Lovely You. This is a set I use so much because I love the font. It's got some great solid flowers in it too, and it just seems to have something for every occasion. So we're using Smile from that, and the Happy Birthday is from a set called A Grand Kid, which I will never get rid of. I use this all the time, but the Happy Birthday is where it's from. Look at this. So smart, so fun, so sweet, and so wonderful. And then it says somewhere here, we must be related. Oh, there we are. We must be related. That's just my kind of card. Anyway, so that's where I got the stamps from. So you are not limited just to the stamps that are in this set. You can bring stamps in from any set, and it's easy to go through with your dies and just say, okay, what fits, you know, and kind of go like that. You can go through the whole catalog like that. All right, I digress. Let's bring in the stamps. And I wanted to put Happy Birthday there. I'm going to bring this paper back in just because I'm going off the paper. So I'm going to do tone on tone. So that's Parakeet Party. I do love these colors together. How many of you like these colors together? There we go. We've got Happy Birthday. And then we'll close that up. And we'll open Coastal Cabana. Oh, Diana, you wouldn't have thought of it? I'm so glad because you think of a lot of these things. So you're making me happy now. Okay, so if that went that way, I'm going to put that this way. It's a good thing you can't see my body. My hips are going the same way the stamps are going. Just a little hip movement happening here. So, wow. We'll do in Fresh Freesia. We'll just do that there. Don't think about it, Lillian. Just do it. There we go. And we've got the word sweet. We will use Gorgeous Grape for sweet. And I've got a little star here, so I think I will use that for, I think I'll stamp it down there just to have something down a little lower. There we go. And I'll stop and get rid of these. And we're going to build the card now before we do attach the love ya. All right. So let's bring our pieces in. We'll add this like that. Just a heads up, everybody. Just like our groceries and everything else have gone up in price, it just costs so much more to get things produced and to travel here. There are going to be a few price increases, and this glue is one, and it is it is actually going up quite a bit. So if you are a multi-purpose glue person, that's this glue here, you might want to stock up sooner rather than later. Just giving you the heads up. So now we're going to attach it to the card. Working black on black doesn't help very much, does it? So there, we have it that far. It's cute, but it obviously is needing a little bit more. So let's see. I think we'll put this right about there. But just to add a little bit of sparkle to it, we're going to add some of this silver twine. So I know that it's going to go right about there. Just going to run some seal there to hold the twine in place. This is what I do with my twines. Do you ever find them unraveling all over the place? I take an X-Acto knife, so just a little sharp blade. You could use the end of your scissors, and I make some slits, and then the twine can go just down in there and it holds it in place. So that's just a little aside. There we go. So I'm going to loop, sticking it down. Now let me, before I go any farther, see if I put this here, is it going to stick out well enough? Yep, I think so. If not, you can always peel it off and re-loop it. When I was making the original sample, you should have seen how many times I had to re-loop before I got it right. But I guess practice makes perfect. I seem to be doing okay tonight. All right, that's where it's going. Whoops, spoke too soon. And you're all laughing. I can just hear you. There we go. And I'm going to do that. We'll tuck this to the side. Well, look at that little stubborn guy. Stick down there. I'm going to put a dimensional on you in just a moment. Just be patient. There we go. And I'm going to bring in some mini dimensionals. And I know that this is going to cover a lot of that ribbon, but I don't want my dimensionals to be on top of the ribbon. So I'm going to sort of scoot them around the edges here in the center. It's all right. I'm catching just corners of the ribbon. It'll help hold it in place. Just like that. And then I am going to, where did I put my Take Your Pick tool? I guess I'll be using my fingers. Peel the backings off. And put this on. I think I'll put it at an angle. Fluff this out a little bit more before I stick everything down. There we go. I would... Looping and I don't get along well at all. Oh, I don't. Usually I don't either. I was having, for me, a successful night tonight, Karen. All right, so this part. So now all we need to do is add embellishments. You could obviously stamp more here, but we're going to leave it at that and bring in our embellishments, not our stamp set. I thought the iridescent rhinestones, they just kind of pick up whatever they're beside, and so I thought they were perfect for this. And I sure would like to know where I stuck my, who knows where it is. For those of you who are wondering, I'm talking about my Take Your Pick tool. I can't do these kinds of things without my Take Your Pick tool, but I can use the end of my scissors, right? And we're just going to pop. These come in 3 different sizes, and I like to use a variety. And put one here. And so how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't even count. 6, and we'll do number 7. Oh, right here. There. We'll be generous tonight. And just like that, we have that card. I really like it. Now, what did I do to the inside of the card? I also did some more on the side here. Then I sponged one right here and stamped wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. And that is from another retiring set that has been really a workhorse for me, Peaceful Moments. I have used this set for so many things. When in doubt, I go to that. And so these are the two cards. Here is the one we made tonight with the fresh freesia. Here is the one I made when I was practicing with the Coastal Cabana. This one I gave it a bigger border. And although I love tiny borders, I think I'm leaning towards the bigger border. So which do you think, the fresh freesia or the Coastal Cabana? Just as I'm getting some things in here. And of course, then we can bring in our Slimline envelopes. And did you know these are retiring? I would stock up on these. I forgot to check the sale price, but these are retiring, and these are great envelopes for your Slimline cards. So stock up on those. And yeah, I see some other Peaceful Moments fans out there. Bonnie likes the fresh freesia. Okay, great. She put something on there. Now I have some other, just a few more samples to show you. Whoops. Went to adjust my glasses and I sent the camera flying. Some of these I've shown you before, but it's just a little reminder. Here is another Slimline card, and here you can see I've done just a few of the shapes in the background. And in that case, it was, I used this and I did it like that. So there it is like that, and then I just did some random stamping in here. I really love this. That is just more for any occasion. And of course, on the bunny kick, I used conversation bubbles for that bunny there. Here is another one that I used. So you see how you can overlap and have some fun, just like that. You love this one with all the pop-ups. That was a little bit more of a labor of love, but you know what, Linda? It wasn't too bad, and it was really fun to do, I have to admit. This one here was pretty straightforward. I frayed some ribbon or some twine and just went like that, overlapped some of them, threw a little butterfly in there. This was to go on a gift bag, so just like that. So it does pop up. It's easy to do. So we'll go like that. This again was another envelope. I copied this from somebody that was on stage who did the demo. I think it might have been Brenda Nelson. So again, that's just what we did tonight, more stenciling. And that is why on this piece of vellum, you can see the little hearts here that I cut out. So the yum, so there would be either a candy or a cookie or something in there. And then here you can see some tone-on-tone stamping in the fresh freesia. That one was from Brenda Nelson. I do have her name on that one. And this one here, when I was doing this design for Slimline cards, and you can see here, I used that die that you can have along the bottom. So this was the black background and lots of blues and that kind of thing here. And then I just got carried away. I really was starting to have a lot of fun and didn't know when to stop, as you can tell that. Now, if you're coming to Stampin' Time this week, so that's my stamp club. If you're coming and you want to be surprised, close your eyes, because I'm going to show something that we're making at Stampin' Time. If you otherwise, this is one that I've had a lot of fun. So this is my cell phone card. So here it is here. This little line is from the alphabet. It's the little slash. Again, we embossed in white and added some of the speech balloon kinds of things. And then on the inside, that's how it went, like that. So as you can see, I've been in love with this bundle. it's a bundle that I will hang on to for a long time to come. Many years ago, we had some dies that cut out speech bubbles, and I've still got them. I did not part with them. So now I have these to add to it. So if there's something that you see that you really want, if you want to do some bargain shopping, you can add other things in too. You're not just limited to the stuff on the last chance list. When you're shopping from the last chance, you can go to the clearance rack, the regular items, wherever. And I just ask, if your order's less than $200 and you're shopping with me, could you please use this new hostess code, just so that we can all get the benefit of that. It helps me a whole lot. So if you have questions or something like anything else, feel free to reach out. But if you don't have the conversation bubbles, I hope that this has maybe intrigued you. And if you do have the conversation bubbles, or if you have die shapes or punch shapes, maybe this has given you a new idea here that you could use. There's a hair on there. And just make some good use of your supplies and stretch those fun budgets. Oh, I was going to share you with a couple of things. I just saw this bunny. I received a couple of Easter cards in the mail, and I just wanted to share them. One is from my friend Sharon, and she made a bunny using these ovals and like that. It looks like, because it looks like he's jumping into the hole in the tree. And then this I received from Karen, who's I think on here tonight. And look at, the bunny is holding the bouquet of flowers. I love, 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 love that. And I was using the Playing in the Rain paper, and I was cutting the animals out with the oval. Then when I flipped them over to put the glue on the back, they looked like Easter eggs. So what I did was I turned them into Easter eggs, made a little box to go in between, used the daisy punch that's retiring, sniff, sniff, cry, cry, and it just, there you go. You can have a little treat for your table. I know I've shown you lots of treats, but here's one more, just because when I went to glue, I got inspired. So the back side of some of those papers surprises you. So there, I think I had better stop. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. Or if you're watching the replay or watching on YouTube, I'm so glad you joined us. Remember to hit that subscribe button. And remember to go over to my group page. Where did I put that paper? And make some cards with the retiring papers and post them there before Friday. Can't wait to see, because you guys are going to inspire us how to use up some of our paper now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have fun, and bye-bye.